Today I'd like to show you how to set up an IoT agent that can connect to a messaging queue like the MQTT protocol to send asynchronous messages to the IOT agent and then on to a FIWARE context broker so that you can start managing your smart device data. Let me show you how to get started. For information about the IoT agent, we're going to install the IOT Agent-json. So search for that in Google, IOT Agent-json, and you should find it here. Information about it on GitHub and how an Internet of Things agent for JSON protocol is designed to bridge between JSON and NGSI interface of a context broker. So that's a little context. How do we get started? I've already written the GitOps for you to deploy this on your own OpenShift Local environment. So take a look at github.com/computate-org/smarttobuyour-smartvillage. And you can find in OpenShift customize bundles IOT Agent-json base. This is where we'll deploy an Argo CDA application beside our other ones for AMQ Broker and MongoDB and the Orion-LD Context Broker to run the IoT agent and get it connected to AMQ Broker and Orion-LD and MongoDB at the same time. So let's try this and get started. First, you want to make sure your OpenShift Local environment is running. So I'll type crc start into the terminal, and that will give me access to the console here, which is already running. So I copy that, paste that in my browser, the server URL, and it's going to be installed in the FIWARE namespace. Let's just take a look at pods and the running pods. So we have the AMQ Broker and MongoDB and Orion-LD. You'll want to log in the terminal as kubeadmin. So grab your command line token and paste that in your terminal, and then you should be good to go. Now I will type oc apply-k. Let me get in the right directory. cd into home/.local src smarttub by our smart village /OpenShift customize. Here we are. Now I will run oc apply-k bundles IOT Agent-json base. And let's do a dry run so that you can see what we're going to get. So all it's going to add is an application called IOT Agent-json, which will show up here in Argo CD. So we'll take off the dry run, run this, and there it is. Let's see, it just appeared right there. IOT Agent-json. And what's going on here? Cool. So we have stuff going on. It's synced. Now let me show you what to do next, because this is important. You'll want to go to the build config. So that would be in builds on the left-hand side, build configs, and you'll see that there's a new build config for building a container image from the source. So this is our IOT Agent-json build config. You can see it's pointed to the Git repository for Telephonic Aid, IOT Agent-json, and that it's a Node.js project. So it's going to output to this container in OpenShift. And so all we need to do is start a new build. Now let's check the logs. This will take a little bit to run. Okay, exciting news. This container is built. It says it's complete. Now, if we go and see the deployment configs, we should see it running with the latest container. So we'll go to workloads, deployment configs, IOT JSON, and this pod is running. All right, let's take a look at the logs. So we started running this container, and then looks like we got an error. Let's check this out. MongoDB driver. Mongo network error. Failed to connect to server. Connection timed out. Okay, so this means that our application is not able to connect to our MongoDB server, which is okay. It's what expected. Luckily, I've written some Ansible automation to automatically create the MongoDB database and user authentication and indexes. Let me show you that. If we open up our project, which is smarted by our Smart Village, and go to OpenShift. Ansible this time. We're not doing customized, we're going to do Ansible. I set up some playbooks to call a role called IOT Agent-json service group, and you'll see the commands it's going to run. It's going to get into the IOT Agent-json database and create a user, and then it's going to go back in there and create a collection called devices and create some database indexes and a collection called groups and some more indexes. So let's run this. Let's go back one directory. And we will do Ansible playbook. If you don't have Ansible, try doing a yum install -y Ansible with sudo. Okay, so we should be good to go with Ansible. Let's run Ansible-playbook and then specify our playbook, which is in Ansible setup IOT agent-json.yaml. And this isn't everything that we need to do, but it's going to give us an error that will help us. So we got an error. It tells us missing variables Red Hat OpenShift host and Red Hat OpenShift token. Find the login command to OpenShift and set these variables. For example, you run the playbook here and then add a -e. So let's just try this. Let's add these. The OpenShift host should be good to go. API.crc testing 6443. But in case you want to know where that comes from, let's copy the login command for kubeadmin. Display the token. Here it is right here is the server. So that's where that came from. I'll grab a new token and replace this one here. So we run this again and let's see what happens. It tells us successfully added user, and then further on, it tells us created collection automatically. So that looks good to me. Let's go and let's delete this pod for IOT Agent and see if a new pod comes up that works this time. So it's going to be this one. Let's check our logs. So it did npm and looks like we did get a connection error. So this happened to me earlier. Let's try one more thing. Let's go to pods and delete our MongoDB pod. And then make sure that this is running again. And then let's go to IOT Agent-json and delete this pod again. And let's see how it goes this time. Mongo. I think this is good now. Let me double check. Let's look at the raw logs. Successfully connected to MongoDB. LD. And so it tells us that it's connected to our context broker, Orion-LD, FIWARE.svc.cluster.local, port 1026, and it's connected to MongoDB. And let's check for MQTT. Starting MQTT binding with options, protocol MQTT. Connected. So look at that. We've already prepared our environment with the MQTT AMQ Broker and MongoDB and an Orion-LD Context Broker. And then we just deployed an IOT agent that connects them all together so that you can start sending your smart device data to this and pulling it into your context broker. And so we'll continue working on smart devices and sending messages. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching.